You're listening to Acadiana's Morning News. It is a topic that is close to Joe and I's hearts, and that is, where's the balance between work and our life? I think people learned so much during the pandemic, but maybe some people also worked way too much. So Victoria Pelletier is joining us. Now, she is a best-selling author, speaker, and corporate executive and corporate America expert. So, Victoria, good morning.
Good morning. Great to be on.
Well, thanks for joining us. We want to ask you about this balance because, look, I think during this year, there were people who realized, okay, you know what? My family is most important. I'm putting my family first. Others, because of the nature of their job, maybe they didn't have that luxury. So moving forward, we do have a vaccine. Things will change for 2021. So how do we improve that work-life balance?
What I think we need to realize is that there's going to be a new normal from a work perspective. When I talk to executives at companies, the majority of them are not planning on returning to 100% in-office bricks and mortar working. There's going to be some kind of a hybrid model going forward where they decrease their real estate footprint and create an environment where, whether it's a rolling, like maybe 2 days in the office or just come in for certain meetings. So we're going to need to get very accustomed to remote work for those who are able to going forward.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we are struggling terribly with the working at home thing, for those who are probably going to be in that environment going forward, they might be very apprehensive about the new year.
Absolutely. I think, we're interviewing or surveying employees across multiple industries, whether they be essential workers. Clearly, we know, and thank you to all of them who continue to remain on the front line. For those who need to be in offices or environments where their work just can't be done outside of it, think manufacturing or production of certain things. But for all of the office workers who have that flexibility, you're right. We're surveying them, asking them, what do you want to do? What do you want to see going forward? And it's really interesting to see the broad spectrum of their responses. There's a large subset of the population who want to go back, who want a separation between their home and personal life and work. Or quite frankly, they have toddlers at home and find it impossible to get their work done. And then there's those who much prefer it, saving themselves, an hour or whatever their commute is to get into the office. Many are finding themselves more productive, but still needing to balance out mentally their stress, and how do you engage with your colleagues? So like I said, it's across the spectrum. So employers need to ask those questions and then need to find the right mix for the work that needs to get done and the employees and how to support them.
So Joe can identify with I've got a toddler at home,
yes,
and I've got to do virtual teaching. Joe, what's that like?
It doesn't happen. It's not happening. Toddler at home means I am definitely not getting any virtual teaching done or any of the other 6,000 jobs that I work at any given point. It is so. I agree totally. I'm one who cannot work at home. I cannot be somebody who works from home and takes care of the kids. I have to be in some separate place working, and I really need that separation of the home life from the work life. So I agree totally with that idea and that belief, 100%.
I think it's really important, actually, we're finding to create boundaries. Now, Joe, when you've got a toddler creeping into your room, that's a little hard, but I tell people, try and find, if you have a separate room in your home, if you have space for that, great. Mm-hmm. But even for those who don't, just for that period of time, create some boundaries where this is where I'm working for the day, and at the end of the day, shut the laptop down, move it away, so you create that boundary and separation.
Oh, 100. I have the home office, and I have a 3-year-old with no sense of boundary whatsoever. So it's a struggle sometimes. It really is. But one thing that I think we've all done a good bit of learning when it comes to remote and virtual work in terms of what our limits are. I'm pretty sure that the stand-up desk industry has seen a boom because everybody is tired of sitting at a desk or table for 8 hours a day working, and we need to be standing up and moving around and things like that. Really, though, about that separation, I am somebody who I feel sometimes like I've worked about 20 hours in a given day, and I have a wife and 2 kids at home, and just trying to find the right balance between home and work life. What are some tips or anything you have as far as how can somebody better draw that boundary between the work life and the home life?
It's tough for many. I'm a professed workaholic. So as I give advice to others, I very readily say, do as I say, not as I do, because I know I don't always set a great example for it. But again, looking at the spectrum, so for those similar to myself, you actually need to create the mental boundaries around the hours with which you're going to work when you're sitting in your home. So that's one. But on the other end of the spectrum, for those who get easily distracted, what I encourage is to look at it like a sprint. So say, hey, I'm going to sit down, focus 2 hours. I'm going to bang this out. Then I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go, I don't know, watch cat videos on YouTube, whatever floats your boat, and then come back to it, right? So, how do you, one, remain focused? And again, short sprints, or in others, like me, be really crystal clear. I'm not moving to get into my home office, until, my first call of the day, and I am going to shut down and physically leave it and move into another room at the end.
Yeah, that's some good things to think about, because otherwise, you're just going to be so exhausted, I would imagine. Joe, do you feel like totally exhausted at the end of the day when it's virtual time?
So when I'm working and I come home, from the time that I'm home, I'm with the kids, I'm with my wife or whatever. And then once the kids go to bed, there's like an hour or so of the political side of work. And I at one point I just had to stop and say, I cannot, no matter who calls me to do something, I'm not doing anything on a Saturday or Sunday. Like that's my boundary.
You're like, I'm done.
That's my time to either rest or get stuff done at home that I need to get done with the family. But other than that, I find it very hard, like, to separate, from all the stuff that we have to do for school, or all the stuff that I have to do as a managing editor at Red State and all that. Senior editor at Red State. It's just, all these things can really pile on. And I think that a lot of people, especially with the at-home environment, a lot of people may have lost their balance in that over the last, 8 months.
Yeah, I would bet so. Whew, well, Victoria, we are so glad we had you join us today, because I think it'll be a good reminder to people that if they haven't been addressing this issue, it is definitely time to think about it a little bit. Absolutely. Create boundaries, learn how to say no, but also have some fun. Yes. Fun is a...
What's that?
Yeah. Well, thanks, Victoria. Hey, have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks to you both as well.